I always thought of myself as superior than everybody. I never looked at anybody to be superior than me.
What is up, everyone? Candace B here. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. Welcome back to my subscribers and welcome to my new ones. How are you all doing today? I hope you had a great trading week. I hope you had a great week in general. And to my American viewers, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving despite the circumstances that are going on. I hope you were able to take the time just to stop and reflect and be grateful for something, because that's what we have to do. Just everyone in general, be grateful. And Christmas is coming up now, so everyone's switching gears to that. So that's exciting. And hopefully, that goes well and that everything just keeps getting better as the year ends. So fingers crossed on that, but I hope you guys are doing well in general. So today we are doing, that weekly forecasting, market breakdown, market analysis, whatever you call it, just preparing for the new week ahead. And for me, I stuck to GBP, JPY this past week just because I saw opportunities. I know I was mentioning in my last video that I was waiting for a break either to the upside or to the downside when it came to GJ, that, I might not trade it if I don't see that, because there's just so much consolidation. Price was just ranging for so long with GJ that it was just like, man, I don't know about it. But luckily we did see a break to the upside. A lot of momentum came to the market for GJ this past week, so that's what we focused on. I did not trade EJ at all, just my love GJ. That's what I stuck to. So I'm gonna go over the trades that I took this week, do a little bit of market analysis. Hopefully don't make this video too long just because I talk too much, man. But as a disclaimer, of course, the way I analyze my charts, the trades I take, my thought process, and everything in between is just how I personally like to do it. I'm on my trading journey just like you guys. You learn from your mistakes, you get better. I am in no way telling you guys to trade how I trade. I'm not giving you a signal of any sort. I know that a lot of people still DM me asking for signals and stuff like that. I don't do that. I'm sorry, I'm not the right person for that. I don't believe in signals. So this is just me talking out my trades as if I would talk to myself without the camera being on. So that's just what it is. Take it or leave it. I always encourage you guys to do your own analysis, do your own research, have your own thought process, okay? Forex trading in general is a very individual, isolating type of thing, and you have to be okay with that. So that being said, let us get into the video. Alrighty, so we are on GJ here, and this week I took a total of 5 trades, which was part of my goal, which was to reduce the amount of trades that I was in, and also just to, try and get a good entry and hold a trade longer than I usually do. Usually I'm in a trade for one day, I'll exit before the end of the day, but I try to step outside my comfort zone and have more discipline to hold a trade, especially if the opportunity was in my favor, just to let it ride out. And so that was just my personal mental challenge that I wanted to work on this week. And so yeah, let's see here. So just kind of reviewing back the week before this past week, we know that there was a lot of consolidation on GJ. It was pretty difficult to trade just because, as you can see, it was just moving completely sideways. And yeah, it was just a lot. And I had a bias of sells. That was what I mentioned, was that I would feel more comfortable taking sells this week. And that was just that. That was just my personal opinion. So when it came to just what was happening in the market, we see that price, technically it was starting to push down before this past week, which was interesting, but you see that there was a bit of a fake out, like a double bottom here, and then you see price starting to move to the upside. So that being said, I was waiting for a breakout. I had confidence that GJ was going to break out either to the upside or to the downside at one point, but I did not know it was going to happen on Monday. So very early market open, or London open on Monday, 3 a.m. price shot right up. And I know there was a lot of Euro news and GBP news, and that definitely played, a huge part in why price was able to break out of this range finally. And not only break out of the range, but close above it, retest the range or retest the zone, and then start to push up. So that was beautiful. I did not enter the trade. I don't know if I was sleeping or not at this point. I might have been, I might not have been, but I did not enter on this initial push. Once I saw the push, I did not enter. I just waited for the opportunity that I felt more comfortable entering in. So let's kind of break that down with my first trade, which I took at 9 a.m. So we see that price pushed up very strongly and reversed. It did retest this zone as a support and started to push up. So very textbook, very beautiful structure. We see, even if I zoom out, we see that higher low, higher high structure. Very, very beautiful. You know, a trending market, that's what you want to always be in. You want to be on the side of the trend. The trend is your friend. So when I saw that price had pulled back, it exhausted, and then it started to push up, I was just waiting for that next exhaustion. And the thing is, when it comes to the markets and anything you trade, any instrument, it's not always going to be pretty, very textbook. Like I said, it's not always going to be like that. So with this, even though we see this pretty clear retracement, we didn't get that the second time. More so what we got was a sideways movement. We saw indecision here. And if you look at the candlesticks, this is on the 1 hour, look at how indecisive these candles are. Just a bunch of dojis with top and bottom wicks and small bodies. Very, very indecisive movement. So when I started seeing that indecision, I had a feeling that price was gathering liquidity to push further up. And so although I did have a sell bias, I did adjust that at the beginning of the week, and I did take a buy around 9 a.m. On the Monday. So got in on the buy, and for me, my stop loss was initially below the low of the structure, because that is another thing I wanted to focus on, was instead of just focusing on, okay, I only want to risk this many pips, I wanted to focus on structure. I just wanted to make sure that price had room to move up. So because I was wanting to see if I can hold a trade longer, I did have a higher take profit, but of course I exited before the take profit was hit, just because it was Monday. Mentally, it was something I was still working on, getting warmed up into. So I thought, it's a Monday. I didn't really expect a breakout. So for me to just take my profits and run, I was totally fine with that. So yeah, my stop loss would have been below the previous structure, and my take profit, when looking left, if you look on the higher time frames, we see this area where price strongly rejected. So my take profit was probably around this area. But yeah, didn't make it that far, which is totally fine. Still gained 28 pips from this move, which was great. And I was out by 3 p.m. the Monday. So that was a pretty good trade, just following the trend. Very seamless, very easy, not really much thought process had to go into it. Once my stop loss was at break even, just let it ride out, and then once I was comfortable, I exited. So yes, after that, the next trade I took, because I was on the 23rd, the next trade I took was on the Tuesday, and this was pre-London open. And yeah, so since my overall bias was sells, and since, looking left, we saw that huge bearish pressure, this was what I was looking for. So I saw that price had continued the trend. It was still pushing up. And of course, like I said, trading the trend is always the best thing to do. And I still agree with that. From what I was looking at though, when I saw this area, this sideways movement, I looked left to see where we were, previously in the most recent past. And I saw that there was this area here previously at the beginning of November, kind of before mid-November, where when price came here, it started to fall off from it. But mind you, it was already in that downtrend. So that made sense that it continued. So obviously, this is hindsight. This is me looking back and understanding, but I thought that this was a good area for me to look to take a sell. And then, so that was one confluence, just seeing that. And then I saw that there was some bearish pressure coming into the market. So once I started seeing these candlesticks being printed, I just wanted to follow the momentum that I thought was coming into the downside. Of course, looking back, we see that price was just retracing and following, just doing higher lows, higher highs. So for me, how I'm reflecting and learning from this trade is that I need to wait. I need to be more patient and wait for structure itself to be broken. So we see that we have higher lows, higher highs. We need to have a break. I need to see a break of that structure. So if I were to have seen price come down further and break this structure here, break this higher low that it previously made, the last higher low essentially, and close below it, and ideally retest it, retest this zone area, then that would have been a better confluence, a better reason to sell. But I personally was just it was more of an impulse trade, just following that momentum to the downside, but it turned out to just be obviously just another retracement, and price pushed up. So of course my risk was managed. I did not risk more than my account gained from this trade. It was the same 28 pips that I lost, and that was what it was. My capital was still protected. So after that, that was Tuesday, 1 a.m. Eastern time. I did not enter another trade until that night, 11 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, which technically would be Wednesday in market hours. But I just kind of was waiting for price to play out. I told myself, okay, let me just wait and see price do its thing, see if there's more confirmations that it does indeed want to push down and that it is done rallying to the upside. So I was just looking for more exhaustion. It could have been easy to try to revenge trade and get in here, especially seeing all these sideways candlesticks, this consolidation. But I just, stayed disciplined, and mainly what I did is I just kept myself busy. So all throughout the day, I kept myself busy. I actually posted a weekly vlog on my main channel, so you can see my productive week in my life last week. It really helped. It really helped to just not have to focus on looking at the charts. I would just look at it here and there, a few times a day, maybe once or twice a day, and then I would just keep it moving and occupy my time with other things. So for me, my personality, I'm only talking for myself. That's what works for me, is just keeping myself busy. So once Tuesday night came, Asian session came, after seeing how price was really, really struggling to continue pushing up, even though there's this huge bullish candle on 10:30. So that was during that was during New York session on the Tuesday. It wasn't able to continue that momentum going into, the evening or the afternoon. So I started to see this, further sideways movement and a longer duration. So we're on the 30 minutes, so each candlestick is worth 30 minutes, but this is a longer duration of sideways movement than previously. So, seeing this, I was like, okay, the bears are probably plotting and planning to come back in at the right time. So once I saw that consolidation and then I started to see some selling pressure, I did enter a sell. And what I made sure I did was I set my stop loss above the structure again, above this area here. So after, putting my stop loss above the structure, setting my take profit, I entered the sell. And the moment I saw price push down, I did put my stop loss at break even again, just because I already, took a loss here after I had a win, and I was pretty much already at break even to start the week. I wanted to still protect my capital. So of course, that should always be number one rule, always protect your capital. And yeah, so I made sure that I put my stop loss at break even. I was still awake. It was just that I was letting the trade play out however it wanted to. So, I could have gotten out here, but I didn't know that price was going to push back up. And once I saw price pushing up, I just let it do its thing at that point. I was just like, whatever, manage my emotions, my risk is already managed. I'm not losing anything. I'm not gaining anything. It is what it is. So, having that mindset that, oh, I need to make money all the time in Forex, if that's the goal, is just to make a bunch of money, that'll be detrimental, because then, what if I had moved my stop loss? What if I had erased my stop loss? Or what if I had kept moving it back? It could have been hit and I could have lost more. And then it would have been more annoying seeing this push down after my stop loss got hit up here, as opposed to it being hit at break even and then pushing down like that. I was indifferent. So either way, that was the trade I took. The first trade I took Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, I would say Wednesday. That was the first trade I took on Wednesday, and I got stopped out at break even. That's what it was. And then I just waited again for another opportunity, sticking to that kind of 1 to 2 trade or 1 to 3 trade per day rule, and just not entering if I didn't feel comfortable. But once I saw this huge bearish pressure, the candlesticks were not small anymore. We saw the bears coming in now. We saw this doji here, this bearish doji at the top of this area. I guess you can consider this like a minor zone area. But yeah, we saw that doji, that bearish doji. Then we saw that bearish candlestick, huge body. So I entered towards the end of that once it was closing, and then we saw that push down. And in this case, my stop loss was at break even. And so as price was pushing down, I just kept moving my stop loss further and further. And then eventually it took me out in profit. So that's what I did. That was, I guess, like Wednesday, early morning London session. And then, yeah, after that, it was what it was. Just watched the market, didn't really like what I was seeing here. So just waited for the next best opportunity to take a sell because I kept that bias for the rest of the week. After this loss, yeah, mentally I could have been like, oh no, let me take buys. But for me, I didn't want to teeter-totter. I didn't want to change my bias from sells to buys to sells, because that's how you just keep losing and losing. And then you're thinking, what is wrong with me? Comment down below if you've ever had that happen to you, where let's say you took a sell, your stop loss was hit, so you took a buy, then your stop loss was hit, so you took a sell. Let me know, because I feel like a lot of traders have experienced that. I know I did for sure a lot. When I was starting trading, when I was just super confused about everything, when I wasn't confident in my analysis. Oh my gosh, yes, that would always happen. So for me, I just kept my bias as sells for this week. It's something that, you have to keep working on, because sometimes you do forget good practices and you have to just keep working at it. It doesn't matter. Like, it just depends on you, So yeah, so anyways, I just waited for my next opportunity. So now I was up 0.5R for the week. And then I saw that opportunity come around Wednesday night, Asian session. I saw that, again, we were still really struggling in this area, really. So this area here was just a very difficult, let me draw it out. This area here was just a very difficult area for price to break above. And so once I saw that, that it was consolidating, I took advantage, stop loss above the structure here, and then we just let it play out. So yeah, that's what happened. And so this was my swing trade, because I held it from Wednesday night till Friday morning. My take profit was hit Friday morning just before noon. I think like 11:40 a.m. around that was it was when it was hit. It was a beautiful trade in my opinion. I'm very content with how it played out. It was super easy to manage. I loved that, how easy it was to manage, because once I entered the sell, I saw that price was pushing down. I put my stop loss at break even, and I would just keep checking to just keep putting my stop loss in profits. So that's what I was doing. I was just putting my stop loss in profits as price kept going down, but not to the point where it didn't have enough breathing room, because I didn't want my stop loss to be too tight to where price was, especially here. I was expecting that there was going to be some sort of pullback retracement, but I still had that overall bias that we were going to keep pushing down for the rest of the week. And so, seeing this, it wasn't really hard for me mentally to, keep holding the trade here, because again, I prepared myself before. I mentally prepared myself to hold onto the trade no matter what. I was already in profits. There was no need to exit at that point unless either my stop loss was hit or my take profit. Just super risk-free, let the market do its thing, point blank period. So that's what, I allowed it to do. And I'm really happy that, I allowed it to do that, because it's a confidence boost, of course, that when you do the right things, when you put the right practices into play and you just set yourself up, then you see these huge moves. So this was a 114, standard pip move. Like, that just was the whole week, and it was one trade. So in between, there were no other trades happening. For me, I know some people might scale out and add more positions. I was just so content with just having one entry and just letting it play out, because I was looking at the pips. I was looking at the percentage of return as opposed to, how much money I was making. So this was a 6% gain. So yeah, I was very, very happy with that, 6% in 1 week. That's insane in my opinion. So yeah, that was my trade process for this week. So now just kind of giving a quick analysis. I don't know if this video is going too long, because again, I'm blabbering. So I was marking these blue vertical lines are just the beginning of the week and the end of the week. So that's what it's showing. But I see right now that we're back at this area. We're back at this area where price had broken out of at the beginning of the week and retested and started to push up from. So this is very, common, definitely not surprised where we're at. Essentially we saw this like double top really on the higher time frame and this push down. So very textbook if we're looking at it that way. And I'm curious to see that if price is going to just now be retesting this based on a higher time frame, like based on the 4 hour or the daily, because the retest was technically on the 1 hour before. So how I look at it is that, okay, you know, you can have your retests on the lower time frames, but then you can have retests on the higher time frame. So now that's what I feel like price is doing, is that it's now retesting on the higher time frame, and that we have this, we do have a double top, but I want to see how price is going to react to this area here, this zone, to see if it still is going to stay outside of it, stay above it, sustain this area, and start to kind of you know, fall away from it in terms of just, you know, we might have a fake out but then still fall away from it thereafter, or if it's going to actually break below, close below, retest, and come back into this zone. So I'm curious to see what price will do this coming week with just all the news that might be happening. Well, I don't really know, I haven't checked the news, but yeah, so I'm curious to see if there's going to be any opportunities for continuing sells, or if the bulls are going to be coming back here in the market. So higher time frames is probably what I'm going to be keeping an eye on, just especially at the beginning of the week, just because it's the most clear when it comes to what price may want to do. So 4 hour in the daily, I'd probably just be focusing on, and you know, and then going from there, and then seeing what happens. So yeah, but for now, I would say, if you want to know my bias, because of the bearish pressure, I would say that I am still in the bias of having sells. I would be more comfortable taking sells, especially if price does close below this area with the next daily candlestick. Yeah, if the next daily candlestick closes bearish in this range, then I have no problem selling this range. I would definitely be looking at that, because then obviously my stop loss would just be above the zone, and then yeah, and then if it gets hit, that means that, you know, the trade's invalid and that price actually is just pulling back to push further up. So we will see what happens, but yeah, I think I'm going to be sticking to GJ this week and going from there. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, if you like me breaking down my trades, what trades I take, my thought process, whether it be wins or losses, because mainly I enjoy sharing my losses, because that's how I learn, how I personally learn. Recording myself, posting it, holding myself accountable, that's how I personally learn. So let me know if you like me kind of breaking down my trades and then doing a quick analysis after, just kind of to see what I'd be looking for in the next coming week. Like this video if you want to see more of this. Comment down below, what are you guys looking for? What trades are you looking to take this week? What is your thought process going into the week? You know, how's your psychology? I want to know all of that. And of course, last but not least, do not forget to subscribe so you know when I post another video. And in the meantime, feel free to check out any of my videos on this channel and my other channel. I appreciate you guys as always. I hope you guys continue to stay healthy, mentally, physically, and spiritually wise. And I honestly, truly wish the best on every single one of you guys in life, in trading, in anything that you choose to do in your life. And I hope you have an amazing, splendid day, week, and life. Bye!